Mr. Secretary of Health of Madeira, in the representation of the President of the Government of Madeira, that cannot be present here because it's in Lisbon. Ladies and gentlemen, in general, authorities, representatives of the government, colleagues, researchers, innovators, members of the European Commission, it's really a great pleasure, I would say even an honor, to be here in Madeira starting this digital transformation summit that first time comes to Portugal and it is organized here in Madeira Island. Actually, this event counts now with more than 300 registrations and intends to be a forum for analysis, discussion, and to develop policies and visions for the future, considering what the digital can bring to the society. This is not an event to discuss technology. This is an event to discuss how the technology can contribute for all of us. So the aim is to look for the person, the citizen in the center of what the digital technology, the digital challenges can bring in. So together with the government of Madeira and all the organizations that are within related, and I would like to highlight in this case, for example, Cesaram, that is representing also the health organizations here. We were able to put out this event here in Madeira. And Uninova, the Institute for the Development of New Technologies, which I belong, is also very proud to have this possibility. During this summit, we will have the opportunity to address the major segments that the European Commission has put as a focus for the digital transition. We have this summit organized in 3 days. We start today focusing in 2 main areas. One is the area of health. Then we have what we call the transversal areas that addresses artificial intelligence, big data, as well as cybersecurity. And then we will have also the 2 keynote addresses that are covering the industry, digital transformation in industry, with Mr. Oscar Lazaro, that is here present from Innovate. And also we will have here the representation of the nurses overall in Europe from EFN, that is the European Federation of Nurses, which we have Mr. Ogo, that is here representing that organization. I hope that you all can really enjoy and take advantage of this event. I'm pretty sure that this is really a very important moment for all of us. We passed by the pandemic. We saw how relevant the digital is important for the society in general, and this summit intends exactly to be a contribution for that. Welcome to the summit. Thank you very much for coming. So, according to the program, as I said, we will have 2 keynote speakers, Mr. Oscar Lazaro and Mr. Podol. Christoph Klein from the European Commission could not make it now in the morning, but he will be all over the day after lunch. He will be here, and also he will participate in the panel that is also devoted for the digital health. So we will be able to also welcome them. Now, I would like to give the word to Secretary of Health of Madeira, Dr. Revolves. It's an honor and also to have you here.
Good morning to everyone. I'd like to give special greetings to colleagues of the panel and congratulate Professor Nicolas for bringing this meeting to Madeira in a period very important for us. That we are building our growth on the digital transformation with a huge impact in our health system, in our healthcare system. Madeira Digital Transformation Summit is more one project in the new era of digitalization in our island in the 21st century after the pandemic situation and crossing an unexpected war that still we don't know what will happen in the next 5 years. Madeira, like others, is trying to emerge as an island with safety and with sustainability. Madeira creates secure, where people who live here and all the foreigners can experience since decades a good health system, because we have a good primary care system covering 82% around the island, and also a good secondary care with all the specialties, including coronary transplantation, and finally some palliative care to neutralize not only the increase of survival of our population with an aging index of 157%, but the quality of the healthcare in the end of life. Safety, with a good economic and financial planning to the population, and a good social and mental strategy covering all ages during lifetime, since plastic to die, involving access to school, primary, secondary, and university, access to job, housing, health strategies like oral health, mental health, nutritional health, cardiovascular health, pulmonary health, diabetic program, C. hepatitis program, AIDS program, prevention of aging homes, prevention of cancer, breast, colorectal, uterine cancer, visual and teeth health and social support, and prevention of oral cancer. But there wants not only be a 3S region, but also a 3I region, so that leads to innovation, artificial intelligence, investigation, 3D region, 40 years goes that this life of from space to change. We need to be more present. That's what the pandemic says. Telehealth, telemedicine is the future. And with the immersive technology solution, we know that's the way. That's the future. This new walking devices through a click will be the new highway over there to connect to the world, but also to connect with the population and with our visitors. A small region in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean will increase communication and innovation through the new technology solutions. Data science, IoT, artificial intelligence, machine learning, digitalization will be the new pillars of the new development of our system, of our healthcare system. This new road needs partnership, and so the European Commission and UNINOVA are the best players for this project thinking in our society and their aging and their protection. We have with UNINOVA and European Commission 4 projects with a total of 500,000 euros, smart care, smart health, blockchain, ICU for COVID, since 2019, and with relevant results, the profits for the citizens. And finally, the third test, sustainability in health, with more quality, certification, accreditation of health professionals and services, giving more confidence to the people and to the professionals, and creating a good work environment. What is the future? We are not transition phase to the new hospital that will arrive in 2027. And we want to transform the clinical governance during the next 5 years with new economic solutions. I'm talking about a system with 46 years that wants a revolution in their planification and organization, with more human resources, more equipment, more technology, more digitalization, more innovation in health. A click must be delivered in the future between health and disease. We created a document, Digitalization to Madeira Commitment 2030, with some objectives. Create a new development center for investigation in health science, development of new technology hub, make the new hospital a reference to scientific and clinical investigation, call for startups in human revolves, create an advanced computing center of artificial intelligence. This already started in Suriname since 1992, the digital transformation with small projects, involving the ID registration, medical appointment schedule, the nurse portal, the vaccination plan, the lab, and the individual certification, the medical prescription, and finally the dashboard for COVID-19. This commitment, 2030, involved investigation to improve health management, the work environment, and the satisfaction of the people and the professionals. The digital transformation, artificial intelligence, and innovation will focus on several themes: primary prevention, secondary prevention, diagnosis, rehabilitation, mental health. Primary care centers, continued care, palliative care, non-hospitalization, robotization in surgery, device, medical device. Algorithms that support the decision making, assess, civil protection, accreditation, certification of other service, and cybersecurity. We already have, working with us, 54 universities, 56 investigation centers, more than 600 researchers, 181 professors. So again, welcome to our library, a digital transformer library. Enjoy our hospitality, gastronomy, and landscape, but also our determination to move forward with the new technology solutions. The regional government of Madeira, through the Regional Secretary of Health and Civil Protection and Innovate, Institute for the Development of New Technologies, yes, we are committed to planning, placing Madeira at the forefront of innovation, taking the lead in digital health and well-being, and promoting more and better service. Supported by innovative digital solutions at the national and European level. After 600 years of discoveries, Madeira still wants to go forward. We started with walking the bodies to connect with the beginning, then passed to the timelines with the development of Madeira in the last 20 years. And now we want to travel through a single click using the new immersive technology. A click to assess, a click to communicate, a click to diagnose, a click to treat, to neutralize, to promote healthcare, to promote security and safety, to promote quality, to achieve efficiency and management of health management. A click to have digital health and well-being, a click to support decision in health. Madeira is currently implementing 7 European projects under the Community Framework Program for Research Innovation Horizon 2020. All these projects are collaborating to develop and implementing their technology in the regions of Madeira, thus contributing to a real case of digital health and well-being integration, which allows a strong commitment to the future in the development and modernization of the procedures performed in Madeira. One of them is the Smart Data Project. Smart Big Data Platform to offer evidence-based personality, support for helping and innovate living its own. It's an Horizon 2020 project that is perfectly aligned with our goal. In this project, it aims to provide a digital health environment to improve the community health and independent aging of the senior population. Madeira was selected by the European Commission in May 2021 as a region where the proof of concept of this project would be carried out, and in that sense, we were named pilot of the pilots of the Smart Health project. From the first Parliament, we were honored and pleased with this decision and committed and aware that we would deliver excellent results. Since then, we created the necessary infrastructures and developed the necessary procedures to start our activities. And in October 2021, we started treating the elderly with our health facilities, Health Center of Madeira and the Health Center of the Sheep in the East Coast. Ever since, we have been monitoring patients older than 65 years old, suffering from some of the comorbidities with high incidence in the area. Low back pain, cardiovascular disease, revolves, balance disorders, cognitive dysfunction, and anxiety and depression, demonstrating the applicability and the benefit of this project in private healthcare that acts early and effectively in this disease. The pilot goal was to reach 100 patients. Today, it is with great pleasure that I inform you that this goal was already being achieved, and we have 101 participants recruited, and because of so, I want to give special greetings and congratulations to Professor Madeira and her team, and say to her that the success of this project depends on you and your team. We have performed so far 185 MEDEX training sessions from the Synergy of Smart for Health and 58 training sessions in the polybalance synergy. In Madeira, this project aims to revolutionize the consumption of digital service among the elderly population and additionally enable new systems of self-management of healthcare, medical care, and civilization of clinical conditions. The other projects still running, Smart for Health, Polychain, and ICU for community, are so important to us, not only through the pandemic situation, but after that, through the quality, security, and good health and well-being of all the citizens of Madeira and Europe, creating a big data where we can put information, storage information, use information for investigation, and take better decisions for the health of the patients, creating new algorithms. The ICU for COVID with the telemedicine project for the ICU units that will increase communication between those units and between units and other health units less differentiated, like primary care centers. That has implemented already one of them in Porto Santo Cardinal, 40 miles from here, and we are going to implement more in the primary care centers in our area. Smart for Health with a platform for management and shared data of the citizen and European Commission, with contribution for improved protection and remote health. And Polychain with a new platform to validate skills and capacities and introduce better curriculum to the people. We need to be prepared for the future. And the future is artificial intelligence, machine learning, and robotic in health systems with more humanization. Public health will mark the new decade, and so vaccines continue to be very important in our lives. Technology will be the new machine for communication. Rapid, secure, efficiency, very tolerant, and with no side effects. With more organization. And yes, the citizen will have more importance in this new future of his health and in community health. COVID-19 is going to accelerate collaboration between the different health organizations and the prevention of disease. Better perception of health risks, the valorization of science, the technology, digital transformation will rise in the new health ecosystem. The study of life science and healthcare predictions said that the pandemic situation will invite a new relationship between partnerships to focus on prevention and combat inequalities and promote health and well-being in an aging population. Also, we need to create a European plan, global sanitary response, to measure incidents, adapt to the laws in every country that will bring new health behaviors, new financial models in health, new partnerships in the sector, and create a new resilient health ecosystem. Genomics will be with artificial intelligence and digital health and big data centers to focus on the future to treat disease better and to improve and increase survival. In the future, I can assure you that citizens will have an important role in their health. Citizens will have the responsibility of their health and their way of life. Better public health, we need to protect people, prevent disease, and improve survival. Medicine will be more preventive, participative, and personalized. Healthcare will be centralized in citizens and will be more economic, efficient, and with easy access. MedTech and internet medicine will be the drivers crucial for development of healthcare. Investigation, artificial intelligence, and machine learning will accelerate the discovery of new medicines, reducing costs. We need to leave a legacy for the future with new data. Once again, I would like to thank Sunino and Professor Julian Clark, the European community, and the coordination of the project of Smart Care that I know is here, Professor Madeira also from there, and your team for this excellent work that you made so far. Finally, I would like to say that Madeira will have digitalization, innovation and investigation as a new era for the health system and for the healthcare of the population. That the science, IoT, 5G, digitalization will be the future. We know that. That already are present. Thank you all, and you can come with Madeira for this digital transformation. Health societies and health communities are the best health for the country, for the nation. I will have health and responsible societies. Thank you for your attention.
Now you will see a video that summarizes what is the strategy of digital transformation in Madeira that was produced on this event. Surprisingly, and by chance, there was an accident in that island, and that was exactly the patient needed support. In that moment, even during the demo, they were able to immediately provide advice and support that person that was in risk of life.
Welcome to the beautiful island of Madeira in Portugal. I'm standing in front of the demonstration booth of the innovative digital health project funded by the European Commission. This is the story of how a group of innovators set out to build a European telemedicine network to save lives. It was a vision that became a reality.
I think for COVID, first one, appeared the right time because we have the COVID here in Madeira. And it was a new way to approach patients with security of our health professionals and with security for our citizens.
The pandemic highlighted something that had already been highlighted, that is health and digitalization, for especially the health professionals and the citizens.
Because the use of the physical intelligence, augmented reality, virtual reality, robotization in surgery will help us managing with more secure with cost for the maintenance of our health system in Madeira.
The vision of the project started more than 10 years ago after I moved to Aachen for my chair in intensive care medicine. Aachen provides a combination of medical and famous technical faculties, and there was the ideal place to develop intensive care medicine for the future, hence making telemedicine between units real. We started with a pilot project, only 3 hospitals, including my own, and this was quite a successful pilot project, and therefore we moved on to more broader projects, and the European Commission needed support in terms of fighting Corona, and we basically offered our ideas, and now with 9 member states, we're establishing these kind of telemedical networks in each member state, but also all together that we're backing up each other. And I see here really a European-wide culture, and to invite innovation, and it's really to save more lives of European citizens.
The concept of the project was to develop a cyber physical system for telemedicine and integrated care, which we call the CPS4T framework. So this solution will enable that the healthcare workers can develop the clinical activities, not being closed and in the place where the affected patients are staying.
The patient data management system, basically the tool that aggregates all the data, and can also do all the documentation, but also the prescribing of medication. Powered by artificial intelligence, the system automatically extracts information out of the data that is in the system to give you as a medical doctor an overview about what happened during the last 24, 48 hours. This can be shared to the person who is consulting you, and we could now initiate a telemedical call to this screen, right? And to show not only via the camera the environment, but at the same time the same information we see in this situation.
The health condition of the medical team is also addressed by using sensors and wearable devices to monitor their physical condition and provide them with direct feedback to enhance the well-being.
We can have the main hospital and peripheral hospitals or even health centers where the doctor don't need to move to the health center because of some specific clinical activity. Like the case of Madeira or of Azores that are based in different islands. If we have a patient that, for example, is in Porto Santo, that is a small island out of the main island, that is Madeira Island, this patient, mostly of the times when there is find a need, is moved by helicopter or by plane to the main hospital. And using this solution, this can be at least assessed properly remotely. And probably in most of the cases, even the need of the transportation of the patient can be avoided. Also, it's very relevant the need that this project has to face to integrate the different devices that are around a patient's bed and integrated with patient data management system. And here, the interoperability aspects on the integration of the data with the telemedicine system is a very valuable asset for this domain. Why? Because nowadays, typically in the hospitals, the data of the patient, even if it is standardized, is mostly distributed and not integrated.
Just to give you a number, we are talking about more than 1,000 data points in intensive care medicine that are produced per hour, per day in intensive care medicine. So we have to deal with this a lot of amount of data.
I would say that the creation of this database, this new database, is very important for our island because it only gave us the opportunity to investigate this data, to analyze this data, and in the conclusion, have the opportunity to change some of the treatments, some of the physiology that we are using in our patients, in our diagnosis, to help us to have better decision making in the health system, in the healthcare system.
So the vision here is really to use the data not only to treat this particular patient, but to aggregate these data to a large database, and then we can develop AI, artificial intelligence algorithms with machine learning algorithms. And here I see a very high potential.
The main challenges in the project, as you from COVID, are that we really have to not only bring new technology to the patient bed, but to also change the workflow, how to do the clinical treatment with the intensive care patients.
We need obviously colleagues that are having skills, digital skills, and this is something we need to involve, to integrate into our curriculum. And this is what we are doing right now. We just will start our master program of digital skills for health with many partners from different member years that we train our juniors up to scratch, that they really can use the potential from the technology and all these innovations in order to transform it into the clinical side at the patient's bedside.
There was no doubt about the project impact in the sense of medical, technological, and social manner. Co-creation was a core value in this project. It involved all stakeholders in the process and centered the citizens as well as the clinical staff.
The citizens' reaction to the projects was actually a surprise by somehow, because we find that they are very much willing to cooperate and to introduce new ways of being empowered by their health. And this is a very nice feeling that we are doing something for others also.
Initiative has had a great impact on our participants' lives. They feel taken care of. They feel they have some sense of security because their health is being monitored by a great team of professionals, healthcare professionals. So I believe it has had a very good influence on their health.
We invest in the health of our citizens. We got to invest in the health of our planet.
I see for this project is to provide the best medical treatment to everyone, everywhere, anytime.
Now, before we get the rest of our keynote speakers, during the development of the Smart for Health project, we had the opportunity, as you know, to have a strong interaction with the citizens. And one of the main purposes was exactly to show close to the population what is the relevance of the digital, in this case, of the integration of the digital health system and of the electronic health records of each citizen in an integrated platform where anyone can access to the data. And this results to award to the citizens that were able to participate in the activities of the project. And I call Carla to come here to present the winners from this award.
Good morning, everyone. So as Professor Gabriel announced, we have an activity in May under the scope of the Month of the Heart in collaboration with the Portuguese Heart Foundation. And through this month, we had several activities at the Madeira Digital Health and Wellbeing Initiative, where citizens from the public could come to us and we could have an exchange with them regarding health and health-related matters, always with a perspective on digital health. And throughout this activity and this initiative, we also created a competition where participants could submit a phrase that contained 3 keywords: Madeira, digital, and health. Overall, we had 110 candidates who submitted a phrase, and after the selection process, 10 phrases were selected. And today, only 4 individuals could be present to receive the award, and I'll call their name, and I will also read their phrase. And I would like to call to the stage Fernando Silva. And the sentence by Fernando Silva was: a Madeira é ilha sem igual, ainda mais com saúde digital. Translated. Translated for you, it means basically Madeira is a unique island, and digital health even more so. Present the awards today, I should have announced, the next award is Madeira Fernandes. Madeira is um gestel assim maravilhosa, perfeita para um estilo de vida saudável. Madeira and digital health, the perfect symbiosis for a healthy life. I would like to call Fiona Fernandes back onto the stage to greet the Health Minister. The next phrase was by José Madeira. A nossa saúde em Madeira fica resguardada no digital health. Our health in Madeira is safeguarded in digital health. Sr. José Madeira. He isn't here, so I'll move on to the next person. Maria Souza. A Madeira na saúde digital decidiu apostar. Com esta oportunidade com smartwatch vou ganhar. Madeira Digital Health decided Madeira decided to take a chance on digital health, and with this opportunity, I won a smartwatch. Thank you very much.
So, thank you very much, and a word of appreciation for the citizens from Madeira that participate in this initiative. It's very important because they have really the opportunity to use the results of all these activities in digital transformation here in the region of Madeira. Now we go and move for our two keynote speakers, and we have the honor to start with Dr. Oscar Lazaro, that will provide his intervention on digital transformation in the green industry.
Oscar Lazaro, Managing Director of Innovate Association. Dr. Oscar Lazaro has more than 15 years of experience in the ICT field. He leads the research and product development activities of innovating for smart cities and factories of the future domains. Oscar Lazaro is also visiting professor at the Electrical and Electronic Engineering Department of the University of Strathclyde and Since 2013, he is the chairman of the Digital Business Innovation Cluster and a permanent representative of Innovate in the European Factories of the Future Research Association and Future Internet Steering Boards. He has received various recognitions for the excellence of his research and has more than 50 publications in internationally refereed journals and conferences.
Thank you for the invitation, Ricardo. It is a pleasure to spend the 30 minutes trying to share a little bit how data can be a transformative asset that can support. I could see some of the ingredients of effective digital transformation, successful digital transformation in this initiative in the health domain, but I will move to a more heavy type of sector, that is industry. We can also do transformation in industry, as we are transforming healthcare with these type of projects that are being carried out in Madeira. So over the next 25, 30 minutes, what I would like to do is actually share with you where we are and where we hope to be, because digital transformation is actually something that is continuous, something that is a continuous flow, is a continuous activity. And I want to share with you both what is the vision of this autonomous factory that actually is what industry is aiming at the moment, where we are, and what still is meant to be and meant to come in the future. We will address, and I will structure this speech basically in two main slots. So first of all, let's see where we are, where are the challenges, where are the opportunities that have led us to build this autonomous factory 4.0 vision, and how this digital transformation can actually be implemented with real things. How can we move from the PowerPoint to the real life? That would be the focus of the second part. So if we move into the first block, the factories of the future, why should we look in the first place in trying to build this type of autonomous future? Why do we need actually, and lower down a little bit the volume, why are we actually looking into this type of transformation? The answer is very simple. We are in a continuous process of transformation. And this means that we have gone from the first generation, the second generation, the third revolution, and we are immersed in the implementation of the fourth industrial revolution. A revolution that is led by data, that is led by digital, that is driven by artificial intelligence. This actually puts the focus very much on digital. But the big question remains, what is the main technology, what is the star of Industry 4.0 transformation? Is it the data? Is it artificial intelligence? Is it the robots? Is it the 3D printing? What is it? We should not lose focus. The actual star on digital transformation of Industry 4.0 was, is, and will be the manufacturing process. Digital transformation is nothing more, nothing less than an enabler. It is a very, very powerful tool, very powerful instrument, but is an instrument. We should not forget that if we have a broken process, it doesn't matter how many millions, how much digital we throw into this process. Actually, one of the things that I like most about the previous video is this idea that digital transformation is actually making us to rethink how we do things, how we change workflows, how we transform the way in which we interact with our environment. And this is critical. This is critical because digital transformation is an opportunity of rethinking how we do things, how we connect factories, how we connect people, how we interact with robots and technology. And we have to understand that it is not going to happen on a single stage of the product or factory life cycle. It is not going to happen in a single location. It's going to happen across the full life cycle, and it is going to happen globally. So what does it mean? It means basically that digital transformation is not an option. It is going to happen. So actually what we need to understand is how we can better embrace and how we can effectively participate in this digital transformation. How we are going to use, how we are going to exploit the different digital technologies to improve competitiveness, sustainability, and resilience of our industry. This means that digital transformation is actually driven by very clear values. We do digital transformation because our industry needs to improve in speed, flexibility, quality, efficiency, and looks for business models. And I would say that even these values have suffered a tremendous transformation because of the very small values that we were seeing before. Before COVID, we were not talking and we were not so very much concerned about the resilience of our supply chains. We were not so very much concerned about our availability and our capabilities of remote configuration, remote operation, and remote collaboration with our set of physical systems, our robots, our machines, our production lines. We were not very much concerned about our ability to implement flexibility in our production processes. So it means that the values that are driven and that will drive digital transformation are also evolving. We are not moving towards a fixed picture. We are actually trying to hit a moving target. And that makes digital transformation even more challenging. We need to understand the context, we need to understand the people, we need to understand technology. So it means a multi-complex and multi-dimensional problem and challenge that we have to face. So if we think about this moving target, is there a clear act? I still remember when I was a young researcher, you have seen that my background was in something very cool in the 80s, something called 3D. It was going to change the world. We are going to have something like messaging in the mobiles. And someone will even manage to play a small video. That was the killer app. No one could think about the real killer app, social nets, how our society has actually changed. Is this going to be the same in the Industry 4.0? Probably yes. We are already seeing that digital transformation, as I said, is not just adding new technology to the process. It's actually changing the shapes, the structure, the interactions of our factories. Our factories are actually becoming, first of all, probably smart. We are trying to include a lot of sensors. We are trying to actuate on the data. Then we realize that this will only give us visibility on some aspects. And then we want to do more. We want to analyze the data. We want to work with this digital twin. We want to really try to anticipate what is going to happen. So we have the digital factory. But what we really need in the end is something that will work in symbiosis with the workers, with our teams, with our processes. And this implies new forms of work. Work with systems that are cognitive. They can understand the context. They can collaborate with the worker. And this collaboration, robot-to-robot collaboration, robot-to-human collaboration, actually is what is going to improve, is actually the enabler to actually realize these values that we were mentioning before. Only through modularity, collaboration, cognition, artificial intelligence, data, we will be able to realize this flexibility, speed, and improve operational excellence. And that means that autonomy is nothing more, nothing less than these digital technologies, this artificial intelligence at the service of the values of the factory: speed, flexibility, quality, efficiency. How we are going to deal with these levels of autonomy? We all have heard about Tesla. I think Elion did a great job. Now we all know about autonomous cars. Some people even dream about buying an autonomous car. But what about an autonomous factory? What does it mean for a factory to incorporate this autonomy? What it means is that actually in our factory we are going to implement different levels of
of collaboration and decision support systems that are going to be assistive, that are going to be cooperative, but at the end of the day, it's different levels of decision making that is shared between humans, software, and machines. We have to remember that factories are not just digital platforms. They are cyber physical systems. We have physical elements, digital platforms, and humans. And we have to understand the new forms of interactions about information, machines, and humans. This is really the challenge. Where are we aiming at? Actually, in 2025, our target is not to have a level 5, a super Tesla. Actually, 2025 should be the time where industry is ready to start the implementation of level 4 automation. And this means that by 2025, we should be able to implement up to, and I stress, up to this level of complexity in our decision workflows. What do you mean by up to, Oscar? Basically, what I mean is that each industry will live in their different reality. All industries will not demand to make a jump or a progress to a level 4 of automation and autonomy. It means that for competitive advantage, each industry will have to make a decision in which type of technology, automation, robots, or digital systems they will have to incorporate to reach the right level of autonomy that will allow them to be competitive, to be flexible, to be agile, and to win money. And this implies that we have to implement new forms of decision making. It is not about gathering all information. I'm sure that on this room, we have a lot of people that work with data, and they know that gathering data, too much data, could be even worse than having no data. Okay? So what we need really to build and to balance is the type of decisions that are required to build this competitive advantage. So we have to implement different ways of making decisions. Just in time, just in place, just in case. Planning, because this is really the seed and the foundation for resilience thinking. This implies, and probably a lot of you have seen this image from platform industry 4.0, how to evolve your factory in different phases. But this is not really complete. Actually, if we increase autonomy, we are actually bringing new levels of interactions once we are capable of implementing our artificial intelligence in our business processes. And this is important because this evolution on the digital platforms should be coupled by the evolutions of the machines themselves. Actually, an evolution on the digital platform that is not coupled with the evolution on the capabilities on our manufacturing equipment cannot deliver the final process that is the one building the competitive advantage. That is why we also have to evolve the different capabilities of our manufacturing equipment. It's not just about building autonomy at the software level. We have to build collaboration, cooperation, and responsive integration of operations between the human, the worker, and the machine. And this implies that when we look at the pathway or evolution of the Industry 4.0, if we want to build workplaces that embed artificial intelligence, we have to consider the concurrent evolution of our assets, our digital platforms under different innovation cycles. This implies that when we combine, we don't have just a single map. Actually, what we have is a matrix that will define the level of maturity that a particular plant can actually reach. And it is just the confluence of the capabilities of my manufacturing equipment and the capabilities of my people. Only when I cross-check these levels of maturity in the digital platforms, in the level of AI that I can implement, and I cross-check this with the level of maturity and automation that I can implement in my automation equipment, then I reach my factory level. And this is an example of where different industries are actually targeting their business processes at the moment. We can actually see that depending on the industry, the selection of the right level of autonomy is critical to make the industry competitive. If you overspend in your
investment, then your company is not competitive. Maybe it's highly autonomous, but it's not competitive. Whereas other industries like microelectronics, if you don't have a huge level of autonomy and automation, there is no way you can become competitive. That means that we have to live into 4 different modes, 4 different areas of control. Controls that take place and could even take place in the same factory. We can think of different processes taking place in a factory. I could be cutting, I could be assembly, I could be painting. And my common sense tells me that I should not use the same level of control for each type of process. Why? Because I want to make it competitive. I want to make it sustainable. So it is important that we really move into the implementation of this type of controls. So how do we implement this type of processes? Is it possible or is it impossible? Actually, there is a framework that has been defined as a result of the project where we have been collaborating with Uninova and with Professor Ricardo Saldes, that is actually the BOOST project, that has come up with an integrated framework that allows you to target 0x efficiency at every single part and every single stage of the manufacturing system. And this allows that from this type of decision process, that is highly sequential, where we add incremental levels of decision delays and this costs money, to implement something that is much shorter in decision level and the quality of solutions. And we can implement this in 2 different types of scenarios. We can implement this as part of a greenfield installation, new factory, but more importantly, the framework allows the implementation of this on a brownfield scenario. And this is very important. It's very important because brownfield scenarios are 90% of the factories that we have today. In order to make this transformation, we actually need to support and to put together a number of ingredients. And these ingredients are actually integrated in the form of testing and experimental factors that should accelerate the access to market. These testing and experimental factors are crucial to actually understand what is the level of return of investment that a particular technology can deliver into the process. We have formalized actually the competitiveness of implementing these 0x level processes through a set of services that can be implemented in these testing and experimental facilities. But how can I put all these assets together? I need an ecosystem. And this is what has been done. When you bring together all these things, what you get is actually what we call a digital factory alliance. Actually, an initiative that brings together and funnels many of the innovation that is taking place in Europe for the purpose of building these 0x production processes and being able to successfully deploy in the factory. And for this, I need to bring together many different elements. Knowledge. I need to bring together communities. I need to bring together solutions. And I need to bring together actually marketable products that can be deployed in real factories. This is what the Digital Factory Alliance brings together. It allows to implement both, and first of all, an open innovation cycle, where we are testing, where we are experimenting with different digital technologies, we are sharing the type of processes and performances that we are implementing in this type of innovation environment. But then, with the testing and experimentation facilities, we can actually qualify the performance of the existing solutions and products under specific conditions. And this will qualify and allow the deployment of these products as part of an inventory, of a catalog. A catalog of solutions that respond to the reference architecture. And this is actually what is implemented and deployed by digital innovation hubs, which can bring this technology close to small, medium enterprises and actually close the circle in a more market-driven innovation. All these assets are from a couple of weeks available under the Digital Factory Alliance initiative. It is important, as we have discussed, actually to see how we can implement and share data, because
what is important is not just to share data. What's more important is how we decide to share data. That is what is going to make the decisive decision on which type of process, which type of model, which type of artificial intelligence I will be able to implement. If I think in a business to consumer artificial intelligence environment where the GAFA, the Google, the Amazon, the Facebook people, they have succeeded, these conditions are very different from industrial domain. Okay? And we need to understand that in the industrial domain, I have the data that I use for internal consumption, very big data that I build inside my factory. Then I have a subset of data that is common data that I need to share across the full life cycle. And then I have open data that I could use from the outside. And these different types of data need to be treated differently. And what is important about these three types of data is they share the same challenges. We need to break the silos, we need to connect the data endpoints, and we need to integrate those to the services. How to do that? Use a reference model. Okay? This is basically the outcome of a very large trial over more than, I would say at the moment, over 30 of the largest European companies. They have implemented basically this big data framework for dealing with the data at large scale. So how to deal with my internal data? How to break the silos? This I can do with this reference model. But this is just a reference model for my internal data. How do I deal when I have to integrate data that I'm sharing from the outside? For this, I need some additional way of integrating data, of making data available for my AI. For this, I need a reference model, a reference architecture that will allow to share and consume data from my providers, from my consumer, with sovereignty. And for this, what we are doing and we are suggesting is to adopt basically data sovereignty standard. In spec 27070 promoted by international data spaces. And with this, we can start sharing data with sovereignty. But finally, remember, break, connect, and integrate. We have to remember that all these pipelines, it doesn't matter how sophisticated they are an instrument for a process. And it needs to be integrated in an infrastructure, in an engineering process, and in a data platform structure. And this is what the third element is actually bringing to the equation. To integrate data service, to have a reference model that allows digital manufacturing products to connect to our digital pipelines. And on this reference model is where I can start building my different types of artificial intelligence. Because I will need smart functions in the equipment, I will need very fast reactive reasoning, very close, in the edge, closer to the equipment, deliberative reasoning, that allows me to look into the medium-long-term type of planning and scheduling of activities. And obviously, if we are talking about human, robot, and data interaction, I need to have advanced ways of visualizing and making decisions on this integrated data. But this integrated architecture, this way of connecting, breaking the silos, we are actually reaching this way. Just a few examples to conclude, because otherwise Carlos will show me the red flag. So probably I will fly a little bit over the slides and then leave you with just a video where you can actually see that this process is not, and this is my main message for the blog too. How long does it take, Oscar, to implement the nice PowerPoint you just showed in the first one? 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, 3 years? Probably we are closer to the 3 than to the 1 day. Okay? Because at the end of the day, what I was trying to transmit is that we are talking about a process, a continuous process. Digital transformation is not about implementing. It's about continuously implementing, continuously improving the performance and the competitiveness of a factory, of a hospital, of a road, of a city. But it's a continuous process. Thanks God never ends. You still have business after after we completed the first phase. We can always improve. Okay? So that is what the World Economic Forum calls the pilot purgatory. And I can say 100% sure we have all been there. You implement the pilot, you successfully implement the pilot, you cannot manage to put that in production. And that sometimes is considered a failure. It is not a failure, it's part of the process. The technology is not mature enough. How do we break this pilot purgatory? And for this, what we need is really to connect the processes that are being deployed in the real factories with the innovation that we are implementing in research processes. And that is why this connection between open innovation and market-driven innovation is so crucial. We have done this in a number of projects. We have tried to build this in the form of autonomous quality in a European project where we are building and we are connecting all these different elements. We are talking about not improving the quality of the production. We are talking about improving the quality of decisions. And that is a big mind change. If I focus on improving the quality of the process, I focus on the machine. If I focus on improving the quality of decisions, what I focus is in the process, what I focus is on the data that will drive the actual implementation. And actually, one of the funny things, when you start doing predictive maintenance, predictive quality, you talk to the process managers, and the only thing that they wish is that the factory runs as they have planned or engineered. If only that would happen, the life would be excellent. So it is not just about planning what is going to happen. It's about making sure that the factory behaves in the way that you have planned. And for this, there are many different ways. Okay? In these presentations, there are a number of videos in YouTube. You will actually see how you can build trusted digital twin data connection across the product lifecycle. What does it mean? What it means basically is that we have connected for a particular piece of equipment. In this case, it was a Mars rover, this little robot that you see on Mars in the expedition. So we collaborated with some colleagues in the US and here in Germany. And what we were actually tracing and connecting was the full life cycle. What happens if a particular piece of equipment breaks in Mars, close to a European or an American mission? How can I connect engineering, the production, and the actual maintenance of this critical equipment? What we demonstrated is that with existing tools, with existing models, with existing technology, it was possible to connect from the IoT to the engineering to the production phase with maximum flexibility and optimization. Here are some slides on obviously what are we trying to do with this special part. How we are monitoring the different areas and activities of this Mars rover, how we were collecting data from the monitoring platform, with the idea of trying to understand how to better engineer the production and the efficiency of that process. That was critical to make sure that whatever we manufacture was actually up to the level of performance that was expected. And this was very critical in terms of connecting the design with the production, with the quality control. And this process of connecting engineering with production was actually supported by the machine itself. And in this process, what we finally managed to implement was not only to connect what needs to be controlled in the process, but to control actually the machining of the particular part with the control of this machining element. In this video, you can actually see how a GF, that is a machining center, is actually producing this critical part. In all this process, this part is actually controlled by our equipment. We are manufactured, by the way, of quality control equipment. So we are capable of controlling these different features. What was important, and for the first time, we were able to implement in an integrated environment without having to work with two different tools, both a control of the production that was looking at the machine and the product at the same time in an integrated environment, and also about predictive maintenance for the actual manufacturing equipment itself. I will move just to the very end because I have a few seconds left just for leave some idea about how all this process of building this continuous quality control and manufacturing equipment was actually implemented by us.
High-tech SMEs from the Basque country that joined forces to provide a holistic solution for dimensional quality control, with a global presence and offering worldwide services in strategic sectors such as automotive, aeronautics, renewable energies or airways. Innovative metrologies, technology, products and services cover all the needs for metrology 4.0, from complex metrology systems, CMS, to the complete M3 software platform solution. Precision and control are essential when building a highly competitive racing car, and big data technologies have opened a whole new range of possibilities to achieve optimal results throughout all the life cycle of the product.
We have the wind tunnel, the entire machining area, engine benches, the 3D scanner. It is an endless amount of technology for the construction of the winning car of the future.
In Boost 4.0, tree makers aimed at evolving their three-dimensional quality control platform to process large volumes of 3D point cloud data and to integrate and analyze heterogeneous data sources across all the product lifecycle. The new M3 experience summarizes the main achievements of tree making Boost 4.0, M3 gauge, M3 data space and M3 zero defect manufacturing. The M3 gauge concept refers to the improvement of the algorithms that allows capturing and processing more than 100 million points, requiring 5 times less time. Through the M3 data spaces, the user can share the quality information easily but in a sovereign and secure way. These two first concepts enable the M3 zero defect manufacturing powered by Neutrality 4.0 process, which connects the quality control process with the whole product lifecycle. TreeMate collaborated in a test bed presented at the IoT Solution World Congress 2019, which demonstrated the digital thread continuity across the product lifecycle using Boost 4.0 technologies and international standards.
With our technology, we are dealing with information across the full life cycle.
There's a real data economy use case become true, and this is a unique combination of world-leading organizations bringing the digital twin to life along the product lifecycle.
The main experimentation site was the innovative ZDM Center of Excellence at the Automotive Intelligence Center, a unique value generation center that enables the Basque automotive sector to jointly generate technology, industrial development and training. The Boost 4.0 unified big data pipeline has allowed to reduce the metrology process programming time by 80%, exploiting QIF standards and semantic interoperability. Also, it has enabled to capture and process over 100 million points and to provide multi-core color mapping visual decision support systems. TreeMaker's take on the Metrology 4.0 platform developed in Boost 4.0 to the Motorsport Institute, a unique center in the world focused on training technology innovation and sports. In the Renault Clio R4 racing project, the M3 ZDM solution was instrumental in the development of the most advanced and highest performance racing car concept, meeting both FIA regulations and original CAD designs. In the Dakar Buggy project, Boost 4.0 technologies ensure a traceable and automated information sharing from real car chassis behavior into optimum buggy designs and production. Boost 4.0 big data technologies, TreeMake M3 metrology platform and the MSI are now the winning team.
So we have been in the Dakar, we have run in Le Mans. Is there anything left to do in life? Yes, there is something else. Just 2 ideas, and with this I will close the presentation. It is a time to scale up. We are operating on the left-hand side of this picture. We are starting to implement small data exchanges in ecosystems. It is time to start moving into multilateral, increasing the size of these data sharing activities, and reaching finally multilateral manufacturing data networks. Like new initiatives like Freddy that will take the results of Boost scale up these data sharing activities is to start working in maturing data sharing ecosystem, data sharing communities. Without data, without the right players around the same initiative, it is not possible to build these data-driven, AI-powered solutions that we need for the industry of the future. My last quote from this little guy, little genius: the advantage of being intelligent is that you can always play stupid. However, the opposite is completely impossible. If we translate this to digital, the advantage of being digital is that you can always place not to be. However, the opposite is completely impossible. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Ricardo, for the invitation and being here in Madeira. Not only thank you for the invitation, but also for your relentless support to the nursing profession throughout the Smart for Health project. I think you empowered the nurses in that project. And the only thing we owe you back is to tell the Commission and the European Parliament how grateful we were with your leadership in this project. So I really hope on future collaborations, because we just felt safe, we just felt home, we just felt friends. And that is, in a very difficult world, always very important. As a nurse myself for almost 40 years, I have a totally different speech than my previous speaker. It's totally other business. This is reality. This is a pure nightmare, and this is my life. So I'm really sorry to disappoint you if this was your cup of tea, the previous one. I'm coming from another direction. The other direction is when you have to put your mother into an Alzheimer home, when she put her shoes into the fridge, when you have a cardiac arrest, you don't know what to do. When you wake up in the morning and you feel on your breast something, and you have a long waiting list, a waiting time for 6 months to know what it is. You have to prepare your children and your husband for a breast amputation. This is our reality, my dear colleagues, my dear friends. And when digitalization comes in, it's all nice, these previous speeches, but this is not the reality. It is not. And I have to tell you before I go to my slides, because I became more passionate now when I'm seeing this, it's the truth on the slides. It's the truth. But post-COVID-19, we are in a different world. It is a different talk. The talk we had in the Commission, European Parliament, 2018, 2019, now totally different. Why? Because we are surviving. That is what we are doing. We are in the middle of a war. You don't know what Putin will do and what we will get on our head. this will impact the healthcare sector. And so the digitalization of that sector is quite important. And as our dear friend Ursula von der Leyen said in her speech, I want to focus on the nurses shortage. And Ursula was the first woman president of the European Commission. And this is important. She's a public health physician. She knows the reality outside there. She knows what cancer is. She knows what Alzheimer is. She knows what obesitas is with your kids who are too fat. This is the reality. And so, in that sense, her policies, her direction is very much appreciated by the EFN and all the nurses in the European Union. By the way, I represent 3 million nurses frontline, just for your information. And it is with that mandate I go to the Commission, to the European Parliament and the Council of Ministers. Because they sign off the check, yeah? That's how simple life is. They develop EU policies. And 75% of the EU policies need to be implemented in Madeira, if you like it or not, and throughout the European Union. So I want that the nurses' words, that the nurses' language is already in that EU legislation. That is my job, already 20 years. And so she said in September, we are going to focus on the European Year of Skills. And then there is a bell in my head that rings. Yes, 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 that's for us. And I want to be there, huh? So in that sense, EFN represents 35 countries. We focus on the 3 institutions in Brussels. My priorities are very limited: education, workforce, and quality and safety, and basta. That's it, huh? I cannot change the world. So that is what my members are telling. And here, my dear colleagues, this is important. I'm a general care nurse, but I always worked with children with muscular disease. Then I moved into neonatal ICU. A lot of, a 700 grams baby you need to take care of every day. With ventilators, with pumps, and parents who are coming in that unit. So you have that balance all the time. And the dying process is everyday part of your business. How you let people die in a comfortable way together with his loved ones. This is the business. And digitalization needs to support us in that business. But let's see on the right side, this is quite important for us, is the development of the advanced practice nurse. And I hope that in Madeira you will get in your primary care centers, but also in your hospitals, the advanced practice nurse development. Because for all the people here in your Portuguese countries, I know from last year that 10,000 nurses left Portugal. 10,000 nurses left Portugal. You are in real troubles. Who's going to take care of the patients? The machines? No. The doctors? For sure not. So in that sense, some people need to start thinking again. After post-COVID-19, where are we? What do we need to do? And how do we need to do business? This is different. And in that context, I'm a strong believer that digitalization needs to bring nurses back to the patient side. Not outside in an ivory tower. That is what you have done in the last 20 years. Create managers in ivory towers. That is the result of today. And nobody wants to watch the patients anymore. No! The key issue is that digitalization brings us back to the direct patient care, and that is essential. So we are part of Smart for Health, we are part of the interoperate, but we just started a new project on Be Well because the Commission asked us to be part of the Pact for Skills, which is led by DG Employment and also DG Grow, the Commissioner Breton. And so in that sense, we need to upskill, reskill the nursing workforce, the healthcare workforce, and that digital process. And as already alluded to the previous speaker, that will be an important, a 4-year project that will be going on. And I'm not going into detail because I have a session this afternoon, a panel session that I can moderate. So please come and join that session and come and talk to us. Tell what you think. Tell what you feel. And then say, don't agree with me all the time. And let us come to some conclusions. So in that sense, the electronic health records, as we developed and we looked at in Interoperate and in Smart for Health, is quite important for the nurses. The nurses need to have the data on their fingertips. Huh? If you get an accident here somewhere, the nurses need to know if you're allergic, if you have a vaccinated, if you're everything, they need to know. And especially in other domains like mental health, if you receive these patients in the unit, it is key that the families and the patients offer you these data so that you know exactly as a nurse and as a physician and as a midwife what you're doing. So, of course, I'm a strong believer in artificial intelligence because perhaps when I see this presentation, I immediately saw the previous speaker, I immediately saw the level 6. That is of interest to me. The level 6. Because that touches our daily work. Implementation. No blah, blah, blah. We don't need blah, blah, blah anymore. Leave us alone, huh? We need concrete things to implement and to make our life easier. That's the only thing we are asking for. Those who can give it to us, you're welcome. Those who cannot give it to us, stay away from us. We will not make your life difficult, but stay away from us. So in that sense, I have a lot of experience, 20 years in EU projects, a lot of blah, 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 a lot of beautiful reports, beautiful websites. Implementation? I don't know. I'm not convinced about it. So the Commission will need to think differently, to be honest. If they want to put flesh on the bones, they will need to think differently. And therefore, I think that we need to look more and more on end-user engagement. End-user engagement, and I see that the colleagues from Univi, from Austria are also here. You're doing the research capacity on that end-user engagement, which is extremely helpful. And my experience in the last 4 years with different European projects, this is a nice theoretical concept, not at all implemented. At the end, when everything is done, they say, and what do you think? Is it okay for you? This is not end-user engagement. When you want to have a baby, are you coming to your wife when the baby is running, 20 years old already? No, you're going to talk to her when you're going to sleep with her, I think. And when you agree with each other if you want a baby or not, because perhaps you're not on the same page. So you need to start from the early beginning at the conception about end-user engagement. Why? Because nurses want practical things, fit-for-purpose solutions. And if it's not the case, stay away. That's what nurses are. And I'm very proud to be one like this. So in that sense, I think other criteria is building trust. I mean, nurses worldwide, there are many barometers, I cannot believe. If there is one profession on the top all the time, and that is the problem of being on the top, and the nurses are always the most trusted professions of a long list. So we have that capacity as nurses to convince people at the bedside. defend the candidate, feeling the resistance, explaining, explaining again, explaining again. This is our reality. And this is exploitation. And I think in that sense, we always want clinical relevance, but at some stage we need to look into also what is the impact of all this. And this is a difficult one because measuring impact means questionnaires, data collection, and it's automatically pulling people away from their daily work. So we need technology also to measure outcomes on the implementation related without burdening physicians, burdening nurses and midwives and physiotherapists and so on. And therein comes research, as I said already, the European Nursing Research Foundation, which is connected to EFN. We have developed already for the European Commission and the European Parliament 6 policy briefs. One is care left undone. I mean, this is a real problem outside there. Huh? I get the feeling that you need to be rich in order to be in the first line, but if you're not, you're in trouble nowadays. The waiting lists are long. Digitalization is an important mentorship. We need to inform our colleagues and we need to mentor them because they are running away. Nurses are resigning. They are leaving the profession nowadays. They said enough is enough. I don't like this bullshit anymore. I'm not risking my life anymore. This is reality. This is my reality. And this is the Commission's reality. Because they will need to take care of it. APN, the Advanced Practice Nurses, the planetary health comes in. And then, of course, after COVID-19 and during COVID-19 is an important policy, and digitalization plays an important role, is the violence against women, the violence against men. I don't understand it. But today, as a nurse, as a physician, you get beaten up. Do you understand this? You get beaten up, Verbal violence, but also physical violence. This is the reality. But we are living in a different world post-COVID-19. And digitalization need to take that into account. To close with the last slide, I think trust comes throughout everything. And here are my details. But anyway, I stay here a couple of days with you. Grab me aside. Don't be afraid to say, Paul, hey, I want to talk to you. That is not a problem. I'm here in the social events, but also this afternoon in the session on nursing in the afternoon. If you join us, come with the idea to talk. Not to, we have 3 or 4 panelists with one slide with a statement, but have a dialogue with us. Come and talk to us. That is the key issue. Ricardo, that was my contribution from the nursing perspective, and I hope it was helpful. Thank you so much.
Okay, so thank you very much for the 2 panelists. So very much pragmatic, special Paul that I know for many years is one of the persons that I know that at the European level, not just the European Commission, but even in the European Parliament, I had the opportunity to listen to you at the European Parliament talking, and I was just blushing in the way you were talking with the Parliament, but I also frankly believe in what you mentioned, considering that we need to be really pragmatic and assured that all this work that we are doing in this European project is really effective on clear implementation in the society. So thank you very much. We are a bit out of the agenda. We go now for the other sessions. We have a coffee break prepared. All are invited. So I propose that the session started about 10 minutes, a little bit after 10. You get time to grab a coffee and chat each other. Thank you very much.